Jack, we are not far away at all from Life is Strange Double Exposure coming out. Now, when it first came out and we had the trailer, we had mixed reviews and mixed feelings about what we thought of it. Like, in my opinion, I'm still going to retain. I loved the games, but it does feel like a little bit of a cash grab to me, and it almost does seem like a little bit of a project to bully Lost Records out the way. But we've got the return of Max Caulfield, which I'm already a bit shaky about, but I'm seeing so much stuff online, from, Chloe Price confirmed in the game, she's going to come back. If Chloe Price isn't in it, I'm going to riot. Now, I just want your hot take on it, mate. Do you want Chloe Price in this game, and should she be in this game?
It's sort of a mixed bag because I feel like she should be in the game because you have to honour that final choice from Life is Strange Season 1. Like, the thing is like the whole Bay and Bay ending. So, like, the people that chose to keep Chloe alive, it would be terrible. And we've seen this as well. Let's just use another game as the example. So, like, The Walking Dead Season 2, which we've recently covered on the channel, how that ended. And then they brought Season 3. And the way they explain away the characters, Kenny and Jane, is just awful. So the issue here is that with Chloe, if you choose to keep her alive, we already know from like the trailers and stuff that she's not necessarily very present at this university. So like, I mean, I could be wrong in saying that because there's presumably 3 or 5 episodes, but going on a whim here and saying that she's not. So they're potentially going to have to give like a little backstory as to why she's not with Max, because naturally there's going to be other people that have made the other choice where Chloe's dead and she saved Arcadia Bay. So Deck 9 have had to walk that tightrope of how are they going to do it, because the alternative is that they're making 2 games, which is of course too big of an order. So I'm sort of worried that they're going to half it, or like they're going to try and explain away Chloe and Max's relationship very quickly, with maybe a couple of like little down scenes or a couple of flashbacks or something. Obviously we know that there is the whole alternate timeline thing, she can come back, but like if Max is in Vermont, I don't know where Arcadia Bay was, but like if they did go off on their travels and they split up, it would be a little bit of a stretch that they'd still somehow end up being in the same area. So for me, I think it's like it's the execution of it, mate. But it's almost like you said at the top as well. It's like it's clearly like a cash grab thing. It wouldn't surprise me if she was in it to sort of appease the fans. But I'm already going into this game slightly mindful that I don't think it's going to be better than Season 1 anyway. So my expectations are kind of neutral on the whole thing.
For me, like, I think I'm not for this game coming out. I think you need to like leave art the way it is, and it does feel like a cash grab, as I said. But I feel the fact they are bringing it back, okay, I accept that. And I look at what they're doing with it, and I'm like, okay, it makes sense. You're Max, but you're grown up. So instead of, like Blackwell, you're at kind of an artsy college. That makes sense to me. The fact that you're in a different environment, and because of that, and you've got like a different power, that keeps the game fresh as well. But also you're getting rid of that kind of high school-esque drama. I mean, it might still be present, but instead they've gone for a murder mystery thing. Now that might land, it might fall absolutely flat. I don't know. But like, because of that, I'm looking at this whole thing, right? Okay, so like that's cool. Like it could work. But then, like you mentioned, you've got this whole debate about whether Chloe's going to come in. And like you say, like another big thing I wasn't really sure why they should bring this back in is because you've got these 2 timelines and they need to honor both timelines. And I know they consistently mention it in the interview how they have to honor that, but I feel like one or 2 things is going to happen. I feel like either we're going to get like minimal Chloe, or she's just going to be mentioned, but they're going to skirt around what happened a little bit to honor both timelines. So like you mentioned, Jack, it is going to be like a half-assed job, or they're going to completely betray one timeline, have Chloe in the game, and then for those like myself that saved Arcadia Bay, like, don't get me wrong, it's going to be epic to see Chloe again. However, I would feel a little cheated. Now, one thing that I will consider is that apparently, like, you know, I've not read them, but there's this whole Life is Strange comic series. And, you know, it is a little bit like Marvel, where you've got different timelines. And it's kind of like we're experiencing in this game. There's this timeline where Safi's alive and a timeline where Safi's dead, right? Now, they could easily just go down the whole avenue of, oh, there's loads of other different timelines. There's zillions of timelines. And in some of them, Chloe are alive. And Chloe's come in the game. Now, if that is the case, because we are technically switching timelines, mate, do you think it could be that Chloe comes in back in one of those timelines? Or do you reckon that the two timelines could be the same two timelines that, you know, of both Bay endings, meaning that Chloe is maybe alive in one of the timelines with or without Safi and not in the other, if that makes any sense?
I don't know how many times we've said the word timelines, but I feel like I've just walked into an episode of Doctor Who, because it is a bit of a mindfuck, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like it's all to do with the execution. For me, geographically, would it make sense like that? Oh, she's suddenly around again, because there's you know, they've done a video recently. We've established that a lot of this game is going to be centered around the university. It doesn't look like, you know, it's not going to be like a Life is Strange 2 where we're on the road traveling, where there's a chance, you know, a slither that we could somehow run into Chloe again. So to engineer a plot to sort of shoehorn it in, I'm not sure. Equally, like the fact that if you think about Life is Strange 1, there were people out there that sort of shipped Chloe and Max in like a romantic relationship. Others will ship it as a best friends relationship. So like, again, they're gonna have to write around that, because if you are bringing her in, then if you're gonna honour that, you're gonna have to show some consistency, unless they're just gonna say, oh, they fell out, or oh, they broke up, which again, it's just sort of an easy way out. It's an abandoning like a whole thread of story that come from like the previous game. You know what, another point as well is that like, whether she should, I'm going to sort of go devil's advocate now and say like maybe why she shouldn't come back into it, is that you've got this friend Safi, and we clearly know that this is a repeat of Life is Strange 1, like a friend dying and all this sort of thing. But like, does bringing Chloe back sort of then undermine Safi? Because everyone, you know, is, whether you're a fan of Chloe or not, you recognise the character. So you could play this series, the mystery's built around who killed Safi, so you're really caring about Safi. Chloe then comes back into it, and then there's a danger that this Safi could fall in the background. And also as well, where does Chloe fit in? Does she just become a sidekick for the plot? Does she have her own story that knits in with this mystery? So is there a chance that we're just bringing her back for bringing her back's sake? And again, it makes me come back to that point. Is it sort of a cash grab thing? You know, there'll be YouTubers out there, once they've played the video, they're whacking Chloe on that thumbnail. Safi then becomes irrelevant. So then you've got this whole mystery, it then falls background. So like, you know, where does Chloe tie into this? Is she part of the mystery? Has she got her own story going on? So like, there's a danger that the main reason behind this plot then just falls background, because it's like a bit of a fan service thing where you're bringing back an older character. So there's perhaps an argument for not bringing her back, but I think the likelihood is that she is going to come back.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like, it's a cash grab alone bringing Max back, so I wouldn't put it past them to bring Chloe back, right? And I think my issue with this is that if they pull it off by some miraculous thing, because I think there's a lot of stuff they have to consider, then great, hats off to them. But I'm looking at the possibilities, and it just looks like there's too many questions that I feel like they're going to be doing a disservice massively to, like, I feel they're going to struggle to honour both timelines. So, for example, if we go by my theory that the two timelines we in are the Bay and Bay endings, let's say Chloe pops back up, you're going to have, like, two reactions. One where it's like, oh, yeah, well, I knew you were alive, so, like, yeah, nice to see you again, Chloe. And then another one, it's like, oh, my God, wow, you're alive, ah. So, like, I feel like if you go for one of those reactions, it's going to disservice the other. So, yeah, no, I completely get that. And also, I just think there's a way of doing it. If you are going to keep her alive, maybe do the thing that was in that True Colors wavelength that Anya mentioned, where Mikey's in the game, but he's in a video call. Just something really minor like that. Because it's like you say, we're in Vermont. We're at an art university. Like, Chloe's got no place here, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense for her to be here, in my opinion. So yeah, like, I think the only sort of way around it is that you really change the dialogue up for both, and you give the players a choice at the start of the game. Which ending did you have in Life is Strange 1? And then you really have to kind of change the dialogue. And that almost doubles the workload. But fuck it, if they're making this double exposure game, I feel like that is the level they have to go to honour the fans and honour both timelines, mate.
And how sick would that be? I mean, I know this is like pie in the sky thinking, it's probably not going to happen. But how great would that be, like, if they actually did? If they honoured it and, like, the game was substantially different in one particular episode or, you know, at one particular bit, because then you do feel like that choice that you made at the end of season 1 actually is important. But come back to it, it's like, why exclusively bring Chloe back? You know, why not bring back
Rachel
Jefferson? Yeah, why not bring Rachel back? Why not bring Jefferson back? Why not bring Warren back? Do you know what I mean? Like, it then gets to a point where you run the risk of sort of then undoing even more from season 1. So, like, I don't know, it's a difficult tightrope to walk. I'm curious to see how they do it. And I'm pretty sure I saw this post, whether this is legit, this is even before it got announced, the game. But I saw this thing where it said that the opening like episode or 2 is good, and then it like falls south after that. Now, obviously, I don't know how legit, you know, this source is, but you know, it certainly wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if it like grabbed you and you're thinking, oh god, I can't wait to see what happens next, and then it sort of lost its way. But I'm really hoping that that's not the case.
Yeah, no, very well. I mean, I think our consensus is that, like, it's like you say, Jack, it's a tightrope. There's a lot they have to consider, and it's going to be an almost impossible job to pull off to keep everyone happy. So as a result, I think it will fall flat somewhere, and I think, you know, fans from one timeline or the other, or both, are not going to be happy. And then, yeah, having Chloe in the game could just be another bit of salt in the wound to just really add fuel to the fire. Hence, I mean, this is a whole other can of worms here, but hence why I think Lost Records is going to be the better game. But that is a story for another video and another time. But guys, tell us what you think in the comments. Do you agree with our points that we made? Or are you saying, nope, fuck you, I want Chloe in the game? If so, please let us know. And pitch us your points and comments and why you think that as well. So thank you very much for joining, guys, and we will see you in the next video.
Obanga.